What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the hottest podcast you have ever seen in your entire life. We only have the sexiest pieces of topics here. This is the first episode. You guys want to introduce yourselves real quick? The gang?
The gang?
Yeah, the
Shit.
gang.
Yo, I'm Pablo.
Fantastic start already.
Yeah, I'm from New Hampshire, and I'm living it up sexual style.
Hey,
Can is living it up style.
New Hampshire, huh?
Yeah,
Basement.
Nice. All right, who's next?
don't look that up.
Don't look at New Hampshire.
Yeah. We're gonna monopolize sexual style. If everybody goes there, then it's not very sexual, is it?
I
Exactly.
guess. Okay, nice. We're off to a great start already.
Oh, was I supposed to?
You're supposed to introduce yourself.
Hey. I'm beatboxing, and I like long glasses of milk and long dark walks on the beach. Thank you.
I
Right,
love
that was
long
a
glasses of milk
That was a fantastic intro.
and elongated.
Podcast.
Elongated glasses of milk.
No, it doesn't. The glass itself doesn't have to be long. I just have to be able to drink lots of milk from it.
Okay,
see.
hang on. Can I just say, so the other day I was playing The Sims, and I've had this Sim world for quite a while, quite a long time. So every once in a while, I like to check through the "Not in This World" category, and there was just this elongated dog,
Oh, hell,
and you could only see its legs, and it had the body of one of those like skinny, strangly deers that people draw. And so when I said elongated, that's all I could think about. Anyways,
was it physical equivalent of the Haunts picture?
I am gonna have the display on this
No.
podcast episode. It's gonna be Hans.
no, he's a little tubster. It wasn't a little tubster. Hang on.
Are you sure it wasn't Hans? Are you sure he didn't just overtake your Sims world?
I think you saw like a premonition, and your little human brain couldn't decipher it. But it was the second coming of Hans.
No, it was like if deer legs were just like if you just took a picture of deer legs and then looked at it, and it was just an elongated dog.
So Hans.
The fuck is not?
Still Hans.
I don't know. Ask my Sim world. They created it. I just looked through the thing.
No, it was literally a premonition. Sims has nothing to do with this. It's just that's the only way your brain could organize like the image files it was getting because you play The Sims so much.
Oh, well,
That's so true.
Okay, we should probably introduce the tiny lady in the corner.
Oh, true.
Oh yeah, that's me. I'm Tenebrice, and I will overthrow the world, and that's my intro.
Thank you.
That's valid.
Are you gonna what state or where are you gonna start for world domination? Where's the first step?
That's a good question.
Your mom's house.
Shut up. My mom's house. As if I am not currently living in it.
Like,
Exactly.
what are your categories for who gets to survive in your dominated world?
See, if you bow down to me as an overlord, you have a way better chance of surviving. But also, not many people are going to survive, so hope for the best.
Oh, shit. If I bow down to you, do I get like extra points?
Maybe. Solid maybe.
What if
Maybe.
you?
I'm literally buying your character right now. You should be bowing down to me.
Yeah.
Give
What
me
if you
some-
just kept everyone that could draw alive and then just made them like paint portraits of you for the rest of their lives?
Oh hell yeah!
See,
That's
but what if they
shit.
became too powerful? They could overthrow me, and then
Artists? You think
Artists?
artists are gonna?
yes,
If you gave them free art supplies and told them that they could draw whatever they want as long as they complete a portrait of you every week, they'd be so content.
you take no chances.
There
Everything
would
has
be no
power.
destruction. They would all just sit in their little corners and draw.
Are you really gonna argue with the world domination lady over here?
Well, and then the ones that are like fuck the patriarchy, that you could just kill them because they're not real artists.
I'm just
Or is that what you want me to think?
No,
I hope
that
you
is
just get rid of Wyoming first, and then you can move on.
Yeah.
I hope the first step is
Wyoming doesn't exist.
doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, come on, tell me who's living in Wyoming. Name one
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what the government wants you to think.
Have you been to Wyoming? I don't think so.
There's no proof that Wyoming exists, and therefore it doesn't.
I should call this the Thanksgiving episode, even though we're like completely past Thanksgiving now, and we're going into the Christmas
Christmas
phase.
special.
We
Wait, no, call it the
Let's
Valentine's Day special.
If
let's go ahead and
whichever
say
the
what we're
day it
thankful-
lands on, whichever the day it lands on, I'll choose like some random holiday.
Perfect.
choose whatever holiday, like you know how they have
National
national
Arbor Day
holidays.
or something,
Yeah.
something like that. So whatever day this gets released, happy insert holiday day.
Yeah.
Imagine that like happy cookie day. Like,
Anyway, I wanted to ask this question. I was saving it for this podcast. Have you guys ever heard
Ooh.
of the turducken?
Yes.
Hell
No.
yeah. No? Okay, I'm going to explain to you what the turducken is. You ready? So,
My daddy knows what
it is a Thanksgiving little Thanksgiving treat in heavy quotations.
Uh-huh.
Not a treat, it's full course. And it consists of a turkey stuffed with a chicken and a duck.
Oh, you told me this.
Yeah.
wait, is turkey what?
Turkey stuffed with chicken and a duck. There's a turducken.
Wait, is turkey down at the Thanksgiving table and literally eat an orgy? What
Hang
the
on,
fuck?
let me just show you what the inside of this thing looks like.
So when the idea was proposed to me, I
An
thought
orgy.
there it is. I thought when this idea was proposed to me, I thought it was the duck stuffed inside of a chicken, which then gets stuffed into a turkey. I thought it was Inception like that, but I found out that you just cut up both the fowl and stuff it in the turkey.
Yeah, look at the picture.
I am
That's
looking at
nasty.
the picture.
That looks like vomit.
It does look like vomit. I would give it a shot though. I'd give it a try.
I'm okay.
Thing, but
And I had a whole crisis because I thought, because it was also, I think it was also told that the duck, no, the chicken gets stuffed into the duck. I thought it was the other way around. Because I thought, apparently ducks are bigger than chickons.
Yes, that is very much true.
Yep.
I had no
mean,
idea. Ducks are tiny though.
great.
They are small. I didn't.
They're a lot longer than chickens.
They're a lot longer.
Yeah. Chickens are like if you put a head on a ball and then added fur to it.
Chickens
Just
don't
have
have
no
fur.
neck.
I mean, they do, but
They've got-
sometimes it just disappears.
Would you guys ever have a chicken?
No.
Like as a pet?
Wrong.
I have chicken.
I mean, I think I would
fun?
have one specifically to paint its nails, but then I would just give it away. I don't want it anymore.
I have chickens. I have 7, I think.
Why do you have 7 chickens?
So we have 2 like tiny chickens. Which those tiny chickens are like the size of chicks, but they're fully grown chickens. So they have like eggs that are like the size of robin eggs. And then I have 3 red hens. And then I have 2 blonde ones. So yeah, I have 7 chickens.
So you're like the chicken connoisseur.
Yeah.
You're like the chicken chief.
Yes, I am.
Chicken chief.
And my 3 dogs like run at their cage every time they exit the house to use the bathroom. So they're pretty much terrified of me. And that's why I'm in charge of them.
I'm glad that you established your dominance over the fowl.
I mean, if I didn't, they would peck at my feet every time I went to feed them.
Oh
so.
yeah, chickens are mean, huh?
They're little shits. That's what they are. They're not mean. They're just absolute turds. They're like if you gave a toddler full authority of itself.
I see.
Yeah, so in order to like stop that authority, you have to be like, "No, you little shit." And then and then it's like, "Oh, my bad. You're in charge, clearly."
Yeah, that's how toddlers.
I mean, if I had a chicken and it made one mistake, it's I know what I'm having for dinner later.
Holy shit.
My dad said that to my brother the other night and he cried.
Your dad threatened to eat your
Yes. No, chicken. Whoa.
You can't just. I thought you said that.
That's what
I thought so too. You did not explain.
Yeah, my dad
well.
threatened cannibalism to make my brother behave.
I mean, that would be funny.
It would be.
I would fucking eat you.
If you're not behaving, I'm gonna fucking eat you.
See, my dad did that to me as well, but with spaghetti. Like, he threatened to never make spaghetti again.
Oh.
I cried like a little bitch.
Dude, I would too.
Now, my mom would be like, "I'm putting you up for adoption," and I'd be like, "Damn."
One time, my mom told me she was going to send me to China, but that didn't happen. So,
For what?
Oh well.
What did you do? All right, awesome. Anyway,
Abby doesn't even know.
She doesn't want to be sent to China.
she doesn't know what
Don't
she's
let.
doing.
Don't make.
I can't think of like. I don't think my parents have ever threatened me like that.
No, I was only ever threatened with spaghetti, but I mean, okay, so I have only 3 rules at my house. These 3 rules,
They're the best 3 rules ever.
So the first one's don't get kidnapped. The second one is always wear underwear. And the third one is soda is poison. Soda is poison rule was just implemented 2 weeks ago.
What?
And I've already broken the rule like 3 times. So.
You are not giving me backstory. What do you mean it was implemented 2 weeks ago? Soda is Did you do something to your carbonated drink?
So before that rule was implemented, my mom really didn't like us having soda except for on Saturdays. Like a once a week kind of thing, like a special little treat. And my sister drank soda on a Friday. And then the youngest of my 2 sisters went and told my dad while on the phone with my mom, where she could hear it. And so first my mom goes, "You're not supposed to have soda. Who let you have soda?" And then my dad rats me out and he goes, "Lexi said since they're on vacation, they can do whatever they want."
Let's sell out. You should kill him.
I was like, what the fuck? I first get snitched out by my sister, and then my dad. So then my mom FaceTimed me while we were on vacation and went over the rules with us.
It's like a drill sergeant.
Yeah, it was really dramatic.
Did they have like the military like snare drum playing in the background?
No. She was taking care of a plant while yelling at us on FaceTime.
I do remember when I was younger, my mom had this rule for me and all my siblings. Like when you did something so bad that you had to get spankings, my mom would say, "How old are you?" And then you'd be like 7 or 11 or whatever. And then she'd be like, "That's how many spankings you're getting," right? So like if I was to get in trouble now and my mom still spanked us, I would be like, I'm 17, and she'd be like, bend over, and I'd be like, ah. But I
Jesus.
recently told my friend about that, and now anytime I like make a joke or like poke fun at her a little, she turns to me and she goes, "How old are you?" And like I feel childhood trauma seep
This is
into my bones.
PTSD.
See,
Hmm?
I was never spanked as a kid because I was an angel because
Oh, sure you
I'm
were.
I
Sure
really
you were.
okay. Aside from the fact that I threw my dad's Game Boy in the bathtub, yes, I was an angel.
How
So
could you do that?
the first time my mom ever did like a spanking for a punishment, it was with Michael. So she spanked him, and then he laughed, and she felt bad and annoyed that he laughed. So she never did it again.
Yep.
So, I feel like the worst punishment I ever got was being kicked out of my room and only being allowed to sleep in the hallway. So, that's
Huh?
fun.
When I was a kid, I like straight up wouldn't talk. And it was like an anger thing for my parents when they'd get mad at me for doing something and they'd be like, "Why did you do that?" And I just stare at them. Like I wouldn't
Trying
say shit, so they would just grab me. But the thing about I always had something to do when I didn't have like technology or anything. They're like, "Oh, but you can't watch TV." Then I just leave. So I remember one time I got in trouble. My dad grounded me, and I was in my room, and I just started playing with my toys. And my dad came in, and he was like, "No, you're grounded, grounded. Go lay on your bed and do nothing for the rest of the day." So I went and I laid on my bed and I sat there and I daydreamed. And the next time he came in, I was legit talking to myself.
That's what Michael
what
does.
the hell?
That's why my mom hated punishing Michael because he would just always find something else to do.
It's really not that hard.
Yeah, so my mom turned to guilt tripping us as a punishment. It works. Oh god, it works.
Yeah, guilt tripping killed me.
It hurts so much.
See, if they do it enough, you sometimes get to a point where you don't even care. So
No, I know. My mom sometimes, as a joke, she'll be like, "Why would you say that?" and act really hurt, and I'll start freaking out. And then she'll be like, "Ha ha." Like, she knows it'll all fucking work on me.
My mom is usually disinterested in me, so then when she suddenly goes, "I'm disappointed in you," I cripple down and I cry like a little baby. The world is over.
I mean, everyone I tell like any stories about my childhood has told me that I was really weird, and like yeah, but like my parents didn't know that at all. Really, they didn't know much about me in general, because again, I was quiet, and my favorite pastime was like doing psychological warfare on strangers. So
Every punishment is just MK Ultra.
My child was
This is
mostly spent
psyops.
in my room playing by myself with toys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I made
dude.
stories up constantly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was
You have like
I
the
was
seven act like grand war with like different just random pieces of figures that you have that have no
No, I
correlation
played
with
with
each other.
Littlest Pet Shops pretty much my entire life.
Oh, I forgot
Oh, yeah.
about those.
Yeah, my
Littlest
intense
Pet Shop.
obsession.
I had a younger sister, right? So I would play with her. And I think it's funny whenever in like TV or something, kids playing together gets portrayed like so sweetly. They're like, "Oh, let's play house. Like you're the mom and I'm the dad." Like, nah, our characters were going through some shit. There was murder. There was
Same.
affairs. There was betrayal.
You just have like a court trial. First degree murder.
Okay, when you had friends over, did you let them pick out the toys they would play with, or did you
Oh hell no.
pick out the toys for them?
Well, I would always okay, if I had friends, because again, I didn't fucking talk, but if I had friends over, and we were going to play with toys, it would depend entirely on what type of character they wanted to play, because otherwise I would let them pick. But if they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be the mom," and I was like, then you have to play with this toy because this toy gives off the greatest mom vibes. Okay, this is the mom toy. There is no other mom toy. You know, like the toys had archetypes that you can't just stray away from.
So when I was little, I would so I would always have my families set up. I'd always have their houses. I'd have all their accessories, and I'd have their bedrooms. And I would make each person's bedroom specific to their character or Little's Pet Shop. It was intricate. But when a friend came over and they said they liked that one, they wanted to play with it, I would just go hide their bedroom set and be like, "Hey, now you can make your own character. But if you can't use that bedroom set, you have to make your own." It's like you're making your own character right now.
I don't think I ever had anything like that. When I had to share toys, usually it was never a problem. The kids would want a different type of toy anyway, not one that I wanted to, and it was mainly just like cars, you know. You just have like races and stuff. So it never really got that deep, but there would be the occasion where someone would want the car that I want, and I'd be like, "Hey, no, these are my cars. Can I want this one?" And then I couldn't. I wasn't allowed to do that. I think I got scolded once by my parents for that. And they're like, "No, let them play with whatever they want. They're the guests." And I'm like,
See, I never got scolded for sharing because I had Michael to fight with about sharing. So from a young age, I learned that there's no point in fighting with a friend. Just let them play what they want and just hide what you don't want them to touch.
Yeah, well, I wasn't that smart to figure it out. You have to utilize every single car you have. That's the point. That's what fills the world. You need as many cars as you have. You need like 4 different factions. You gotta have a giant racetrack going. I had a Hot Wheels racetrack that was like super long, but the only way that it would work, you would have to put the ramp attached to like something else that's really high because it didn't have a tower. So you would take the beginning and you would attach it to like a table or to like a shelf. And that was so it was hard to use. It was hard to use those tracks. I think I had more, but yeah, you would have. It was always great just having like 4 teams of like 3 cars. You just have like the muscle cars. You have the speed cars. It was crazy. But there's a specific toy car that I wanted. It was like this black Ferrari looking thing. It looked awesome. And and I remember I had an argument with a friend of who gets to use it. Obviously parents weren't around and we were arguing. And you'd think that it would just end up like someone's crying and then you'd have to call the parents, but no, like I did not have any what you might say balls to to take my own toy because it was mine. It was mine first off. The cars were mine. The track was mine. It was my house. They're like, "No, I want that one." And I'm like, "But no, I that's my favorite." And they're like, "No, shut up. Take this one. Take the other one." I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine, I guess." And that's usually how that would turn out.
The one time that happened to me, okay, so it was when I lived in California, and this particular friend, she had a big house, so of course her big ass room was just full of Littlest Pet Shops. Like, I swear she had every single one.
Well, it's a 6-year-old's like dream.
Exactly, and I was like 2 years younger than her, so going over to her house, all I wanted to do was just play with her toys. She would give me the shittiest ones. I had to play them a specific way. So eventually I hated going to her house to like play pet shops with her. Even though she liked playing them with me, I hated playing them with her. So then one day I got to go to her house to be babysat by her mom. And she was still at, I think it was softball practice. So I had her room to myself for a full 7 hours.
Oh, yeah.
I made sure I knew where everyone went, and then I went wild. And then once the 6 hour and 30-minute mark hit, I put everything back and played with the crappy ones until she got home.
Nice.
It's the best day of my life. I do not regret it.
You should have just stole some. That would have been awesome. It's not like she
No, she would have. She would have known, because I would have stolen, like, the best ones.
Oh. Be like, I don't know.
Yeah,
they probably thought that she lost it anyway. You guys were young.
No. I was in 4th grade and she was in 6th grade.
Oh.
Oh.
No, she still definitely would have lost it.
She would have known. She would have come up to me at recess or something and like shoved my head into the dirt.
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Going to school in California, it's like life or death, especially up in the mountains. You are living like a mountain man up there.
Have you guys ever gone into a fight, like a fist fight?
I almost did. Twice.
Okay, please explain. I'm curious.
The first time, a girl was ignoring me, and I don't do ignoring. It's petty, it's ridiculous. I find out the problem and I solve it. That's how I work.
Strong, independent woman.
Yeah, so it was in, I think, 2nd or 3rd grade, and someone came up, because you know what little kids do? They come up and they're like, she's ignoring you because blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so one of my friends came up and told me that, and I went, hell nah. So I sprinted towards this girl, tackled her to the ground, and she was about to hit me. So I grabbed her hand and I said, you do not ignore me. And then I walked away.
Wow.
Yeah.
The second time, I don't know what fucking happened, but this tiny little girl in our grade, her name, I'm gonna give you her name. Her name was Chelsea. This little shit was talking up about how she was gonna fight me to our entire class. Never talked to her a day in my life. Ever. And she was talking about how she was gonna fight me. So then this really tall kid in my science class walked up to me and he went, yo, are you really gonna fight Chelsea? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, she wants to fight you at lunch. And I went, okay, but she gets first hit, so I don't get in trouble. Like, fully prepared to get socked in the face. So then I don't get in trouble and I can beat the absolute crap out of this little thing. She comes up to me at lunch. And so she has one fist clenched and the other, like, a flat palm, and she keeps hitting them together while talking. And I was so close to laughing at her, so I had to be on my phone while she was talking to me. And she was like, okay, I don't want to fight you, but if you keep talking shit about me, I'm gonna fight you. This is not okay. And I'm just like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. And she went on, like, for the entire lunch period about how my behavior was inappropriate, and if I want to talk shit about her, you should be expected to have a fight. And all I could think is, you're the one who wanted to fight me. I don't know who you are. Like, at all. I've never talked to you until today. And now it sounds like you're chickening out of the own fight you wanted to have.
She wasn't ready for it.
She was not ready for me being like, okay, let's fight. Go ahead. You get first hit.
I can't believe she didn't go through with it. Hey, Chelsea, if you're watching this podcast,
come fight me. Go ahead.
Get first hit.
I am 10 times stronger than I was in 7th grade. I will kick your tiny ass.
This is a challenge to Chelsea if you're watching this somehow.
Again, you get first hit because I'm not getting in trouble for this.
She's still gonna fight in a school.
She'll come up and she'll do the same thing to me. Look, those are fighting words, and I will not be disrespected.
There you go, Chelsea. There's your challenge if you
Where's
wanted a shot at the glory.
Yeah, she's probably living it up. Who knows where? And she's
Probably
gonna see this and
California.
be like, "Oh my gosh!" No, it wasn't in California.
Is
This
she-
was in Cimarron.
Oh,
Okay. Is she the same one? Yeah, she's the same one. She left, and
Yeah.
then like she left, and then she didn't come back, and then she did, and then she left again.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
this is,
She left while I was still there, and then she came back
Yeah.
after I left.
she was waiting to see if you just left.
I don't know. A lot of people like would transfer in and out of that school for no reason.
Yeah, like me, apparently.
You don't think
Bye.
they're being swapped out with like body doubles?
I feel like that's really weird to do your senior year.
To have body doubles?
Me? I had to. Listen, I had no choice.
You gotta get a clone.
Yeah, I had to get a clone. Sorry,
Okay.
guys.
And it's okay.
Actually,
I mean,
The real had to get a clone, and
all the
She
politicians
sent her
use
to-
clones or reptiles.
as they should be the real them. Ew.
Do you guys think you would get along with your own clones?
I mean, they say your worst enemy is yourself. So probably not.
Multiple occasions. Real me can do a mean backflip. Wait, that's not even a fighting. She's just an acrobat.
I feel like if I were to meet my clone, they would have to be either exactly like me or nothing like me and just have my face. Or else
Okay,
I
but
wouldn't
what
be
if
able
they-
to tolerate them.
What if they did act almost like pretty much exactly like you?
Uh, you know, I feel like, well, because here's the thing. Does your clone have the exact same thought process as you?
Yes.
So are you thinking the exact same thing
Yes, it is
every
literally
single
just
moment of your
another-
life?
It's literally just another you.
Well, then you would absolutely hate them because you would achieve the same things. You'd have to, like,
Is this doppelganger or clone? That's a very important distinction. Doppelganger or clone?
Well, doppelgangers are usually the evil versions, right? That's how
No, they're just different versions with your face. And then clones, I guess it depends on whether they're made scientifically, because then they've had a completely different life than you have, or if it's just you living the exact same life in a different area.
yeah, so, like, if that's the case, you would absolutely fucking hate your clone.
Okay, well then how about doppelganger if we're going with that?
Oh, I'd probably get along with my doppelganger. I'd probably make jokes about how pretty they are all the time.
You would marry your doppelganger.
I
Find your
probably would.
doppelganger. Marry them.
You know,
That's
most
the most narcissistic thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm a little narcissistic, yeah,
A little bit.
but I
You
think
said that
I'm
you
good
would-
looking. I am narcissistic. I know I am. I'm very egotistical, and that's fine.
I feel like I would get along with mine, but only for like superficial things.
Well,
We would
because
end up
okay,
going our own ways, but like we would just talk and be like, "Hey, do you want to do something?" To be like, "Yeah, sure." And then 30 minutes of pretty much nothing, and we just leave.
if it were your clone, your computer would be like you guys would have the same property, right? So when you wanted to go do something, they'd want to go do something at the same time, and you'd be like, "Yo, what the hell? It's my computer time," and they'd be like, "No, it's my computer time." It'd be like if you were like, if you had a twin sibling, and you had to share every little thing. Like your mom like forced you to be the same person.
I wouldn't think I would be able to work it out. I feel like I'm pretty flexible when it comes to that kind of stuff. So if it was my clone, I would just be like, "Hey, we'll just set up a schedule like this, or we'll do rock paper scissors," and you'd be like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, but if you're doing rock paper scissors, you guys would have the same thought process, and it'd just be a tie for the rest of
It's just
your
a tie
life.
forever.
Yes,
Okay, how about tic tac toe then?
you
would always try and tic-tac-toe too, wouldn't you?
you guys would probably argue about whether being X or O.
That would no. I feel like that's your own. That's your issue. I literally do not care which one I go with.
See, I would
So
have
neither
to
would
play
your clone.
Skippo with mine. With mine.
I mean, sure, they would have the same thought process, but I feel like you can easily work around. You can easily work around that. Yeah, I really stumped you with that, huh?
Wait, sorry. I got a text and I had to respond. What did you say?
Ooh, who did you get a text from? In the middle of this
Your
podcast?
mom.
I'm fuming right now. Can't believe you tell me that. I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to demonstrate right here and now?
Mi amo. Mi amo. I was about to say my actual name, but mi amo.
Mi amo Pablo.
No. Mi amo.
Oh yeah, I have to refer to you as beatbox. Anyway, this is my buddy over there.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Mi nombre es.
Nice.
Hola, soy Dora.
How would you write the beatbox if that was like your actual name? How would you write that down?
You just write
Hold on.
the word.
I
You
got you.
just use the letters B, X, and T the entire time.
You can't even spell my name, and we've been friends for so long. Listen.
Oh, she's typing in chat. You realize we're not going to be able to see this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Use
cool.
your editing skills.
That's on my birth certificate, bro.
I mean, I could probably try to put up a picture of that. I have to censor out the name and the, well, maybe not the picture, but the name. Oh my god, it sounds so foreign. Where are you from?
Oh my god. What's your accent, girl?
Where you
I
from?
you.
I come from the village of.
Yeah, and you have to say it with exactly that rhythm, like that tone signature, or it's sacrilege.
My father was boom boom, and my mother was.
In the village of.
The village of. I mean,
You have to do it as like
village
weak
would be
and
awesome.
tiny as possible.
The beatboxing villain. Or
The
village.
village.
I just said villain. I'm in village. Beatboxing villain.
I am a villain.
You are a villain?
I'm coming for all your beatboxing dreams, motherfuckers.
Oh my
I'm a
god.
beatboxing blueberry.
Would you guys ever become a beatboxer? Like a professional beatboxer?
No, I'm bad at it.
No?
I would marry a beatboxer though, so they could say my name correctly.
Say my name, say my name. Say my name.
Alright, babe.
Hey, wait, this is going on YouTube. I don't think you guys can sing that.
Oh shit.
Yes, you can, as long as it's not the full song.
No,
Yeah,
they
just
will
beatbox
they will
and
still end up crap. Well, we're gonna see. We'll find out.
Just
I
censor it.
I live
And then
life
it'll
on the
sound like we were
edge.
saying a really long cuss word.
We're about to find out. I live life on the edge. Leave a
You
like if
do
you're
the
still
Ooh.
hokey
watching this.
pokey and you turn yourself around.
Leave a like
That
if you like
is
committing felonies. Let's go, guys.
watch
More
it.
Felons rise up.
felonies.
Felons rise up.
Oh, be gay to crime. It's the only way I'll allow you in my
I hope people in
society.
prison are listening to
Yeah.
this. That would be awesome.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said I hope people in prison would listen to this.
I mean,
Hey, what's
If any
going on?
prisoners are watching, leave a like on this podcast right now.
if you have done a questionable offense that is not welcome in our society, aside from stealing, I
don't
do
think
not want
stealing
you
is allowed
listening
in
to
that.
this
What do you mean?
podcast.
Wait a minute. Why not
Stealing is not as questionable because most of the time people steal because they cannot afford, and it becomes an addiction, like
No, I
alcohol.
just steal to ruin people's day.
I mean,
Felon, what's
I will
your
also
opinion?
allow murdering someone because of defense or for a good reason,
No,
like
I
a
would just murder
valid
just to ruin
reason.
somebody's day.
But like, if you are a criminal and you're ruining genuine lives, like good people's lives, fuck off. No one wants you here.
I
Go
did not realize Pablo was the law.
I am
Shit.
the law. I hate criminal.
Holy shit.
I am the law. Yeah, if
This
any
is
criminals
why
are watching, you better watch out.
after I get my art degree, I'm going straight to the Supreme Court.
Oh yes,
I'm
the
not
logical,
sure that's how
the
that
logical
works.
next step. You go
That's
from art
exactly how it
school,
works.
you graduate, and
Tenebrous.
instantly into law firms.
What?
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, 'cause
natural progression.
Yeah, I
Because
go
you know
to
how people find artists to be so important and people care about our opinions and what else can I lie to you about? People
and they don't wait until you die to buy your stuff. They don't do that. They buy it
and
now.
they don't only see your talent as a means for themselves.
Yeah, they don't do
And
that.
yeah. Because that's what sorry.
They don't ask you to draw stupid stuff that makes you question your decisions as an artist. They don't do
They
that.
don't look at you when you're in the fucking middle of a drawing and say, "Why are they naked?" Nobody ever does that.
No, no.
If
They
you
don't say,
guys-
I like how it started out as shapes and then it just turned into a person. I like how that happened. They don't do that.
Yeah, they don't invade your personal privacy by looking through your sketchbook when you're gone.
Yeah, they don't do that.
So you guys like to draw, I would say. Is there any like series that you would like to illustrate for?
Oh shit! I've been doing this on the wrong layer.
I did that earlier today. Wait, okay. Can you rephrase that question? I don't fully understand.
Is there like maybe a TV show or like a movie or just some kind of series, whether it be anime or just like for kids cartoons or even like
See-
comic books or just regular
Okay.
novels? Is there any series that you would like to illustrate for?
There are some animes I really like for their story, but it's really hard when most animes don't have a specific art style. So then when an anime does have their own specific art style, it's like so much more capturing. So I definitely lean more towards Western cartoons. Like I would love to animate a Disney Channel show. But I also do not want Disney Channel to own my art for the rest of my life.
That's
Because
true.
because they have really good shows, but they would own everything.
Mhm.
And I do not want that.
Yeah.
So I think our best bet is to get a show that's like on Netflix or on Hulu, like those streaming services only. Like, have you watched like Little Demon or Centaur World or Inside Job? Any of those things?
Yeah, I've heard of
Yeah.
Inside Job.
They're all super good, and the artists that did them did a great job with the crappy budget that they had, and I would love to be on those kinds of things.
Well, first of all, it depends on what part of the process I'd be in. Like, is it like am I working on the final product, or am I doing like storyboarding or character
It
design?
could be whatever, but you are illustrating for this series.
All right, I don't think, honestly, some of my favorite animes or shows that involve artistic things are just heavily talented in that area. And while I would love to be part of that process, I don't want to ruin it.
Well, no,
So,
like if you were to say that you got better, right? You
okay.
improve a lot, and then they ask you specifically, "Hey," or like you got the opportunity for them to tell you, like, "Hey, you should come work for
Yeah,
us. You should come do this series." What series would it be?
I would probably really like to work on Sunny Boy because
Sunny
it's
Boy?
my favorite anime, and
Mm.
also it's just a very visually pleasing show to watch, and
Yeah,
the
I've seen the
story,
animation. It's really good.
it's a lovely looking anime. It the story can get a bit convoluting at times if you're not like it's not the show you can turn off your brain to watch, if that makes sense.
Right.
But I like to work on that. And also I would just like to like make my own comic, or obviously I couldn't make my own entire show. Like that's not possible probably.
Right.
But or it would take me a very long time.
I mean,
But
you can make games by yourself. I mean, that's what most indie studios are usually made by like a team of just a couple people, less than 100.
yeah.
So I think it's
Um
very possible to do it by probably. I don't know if it's different for like animation, but I feel like it could still be possible.
but like I am very fond of that specific type of like the very kind of art that like puts you in a reality and then bends that reality. That's my favorite kind of art,
Mm.
and I would like to do it more often because most of the time I'm just like, tee hee, look at this, it's my OC. Ugh. But
Yeah, I'm really jealous of people who can draw. I can't. I don't know. I mean,
just
obviously, if I put in the work and practice, I could probably get better. But even still, when you just look at other people, like you don't even necessarily or have to like anime, but like you gotta agree that when you look at most of them, they are this is some talented artists. It's insane.
yeah. I remember when I was first trying to draw because most of my life, well, at the beginning of my life, my creative outlet was writing first before it was art.
Mm.
And then I think it was my dad when I was really younger. I would watch Hayao Miyazaki films with him, right?
Mm.
And then I remember when my dad first told me that those were like though the animation was drawn by people and wasn't like some kind of like computer wizardry, my mind was fucking blown. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. So, when I first started, I remember looking at like these anime drawings and I was like, no, yeah, no, that looks so easy. No, I can do that. And then when you actually try and do it, you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Dude, yeah, you have to develop that kind of eye, that
Yeah.
attention to detail.
I literally thought I could just like boom do it, and then I
Yeah. And I see, oh my god, dude, when you watch like manga artists like make a sketch, I put that in air quotes, you can't see, but a sketch, and it's like the most detailed, like pristine piece of art that you've ever seen in your entire life, and it takes them like 3 seconds. They're like, oh yeah, it's just something very quick.
well, okay, that whole Discord actually gets me mad sometimes because I understand, like, there's a lot of artists that post like, oh, just a sketch, and it's a completely finished artwork, like full graphic, like just with a pencil, but it's like a finished artwork, right? That
Mm-hmm.
probably took them years. Like an artist currently, are mad at people who are doing that because they're like, you're like downplaying the work that is actually put into art, and then people will go to you like, oh, well, why can't you do this really fast? Like, it messes up things with commissions, payments, stuff like that. Like, I get that. But now it's just turned to any artist who's like, oh, this is a sketch of da 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 da, and the sketch looks detailed or complete. They're like, that's not a sketch. But it's like hard for me sometimes because I don't rank my art by how long it took me to make it. I rank it by how much work I wanted to put into it, if that makes sense. So if I do something with no plans and I'm doing it on a piece of paper I don't care about or something, I'll be like, oh, a doodle of blank, even if it took me a long time or I worked on it. And then if I'm just like doing something that I don't mean to be a finished artwork, whether I want it to look good or not, I'll be like a sketch, even if it took me the same amount of time as a finished artwork would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not like actively trying to be like, oh yeah, this was so easy for me, because it probably wasn't. I just didn't care that much about it.
Right.
And
Do
so
you
when I post it, I'll sometimes get people being like, that's not a sketch though. And I'll be like, but that's how like it felt like a sketch to me.
right. So do you think there should be like do you think there's like a very strict definition of what a sketch should be? Or do you just not really care?
I just think it needs to be recognized that how much value an artist puts into their work is different depending on the artist, right? And
Right.
so you can't just throw like, oh, if it took you more than like 2 hours to complete, it's not a sketch or something. You can't say that. Because to some artists, like some artists might be really slow and it took them more than 3 hours to complete a simple sketch for them, but it's still a sketch to them, right? Like,
Right.
it's different.
So it's just so you think a sketch is more just like what is actually put on the page and how much is put on the page?
I think it's just the intent you have with making it, because, like, in my sketchbook, I have my standards are far lower than if I would be making a complete artwork,
Right.
right? Like, so I'll post something, even if it looks like a complete artwork to other people and it looks amazing, I'll be like, a sketch of my character blank or something like that, or like a quick sketch of this. I think your intentions going into it defines what a sketch or a doodle is, rather than the amount of time it took you.
I see.
What the fuck is
It
going
definitely
on?
is weird that would even be an issue.
Well,
That
it's
because like I feel like artists are very they're just naturally very I guess modest, or they're like artists are like one of the most self-critical people I've ever seen in my entire life. You'll see someone that draws like the most heavenly masterpiece that anybody like that would just make anybody cry. And then they'll be like, it could have been better. It's not very good.
Well,
And then
that's
obviously with like people who do commissions as well, they like tend to undersell their work.
that
Well, 'cause
is
they've been through thick and thin with that process. They know every mistake and where it's at. That's why starting artists, I strongly recommend that you take a step back from your work and appreciate the whole picture, even if it's not fully done, because then you get the outsider perspective, really.
Yeah.
My artists are very critical of their work is because they know where every single mess up is, where every struggle happened, where something doesn't look good. They don't really see the full picture even after they sell it. So, like, even if you spend days or months on a painting or a drawing or a sketch, that's why we're never ever happy with it. We are also, okay, this is very kind of funny, we are the most welcoming community. We encourage people to come and draw and work on their skills, but we give rules to the dumbest things for no reason at all. And for some reason, as a group, get mad, even though art is very, like,
Subjective.
it's very subjective. It's this big concept that can never be defined as one thing. But as a group, we always find this one rule that we're like, no.
What's an example of a really dumb rule that seems to be prominent?
One that makes me a little mad. Like, I understand it has to be done right for it to be okay, but it makes me mad when it's a little bit hypocritical because I just got onto somebody for this recently, but beginner artists tracing other people's artwork, and like, you cannot post traced artwork and be like, this is mine, because it's not yours. It is okay as a practice because even like the old like Michelangelo, like when they were first starting out, they also traced artwork. It is a way to learn, and it is a very effective way to learn. That's why whenever somebody asks me like, "Oh, how do you improve your art?" I tell them to watch speed paints of other artists drawing, see how they map out the body, see how they look, like how they fit their artwork onto the page, things like that. Like, learning from other artists is a very good way to learn, and it should be encouraged more in the artist community. But we get so scared of tracers because everybody fucking hates getting their art traced, and I understand that. But if a younger artist traced the artwork, post it, but credited the original artist, specifically said that they traced the work, or if they were just using a base that is online and specifically free to use for use, people should not be getting pissed at this probably like 9, 10, 11-year-old just trying to figure out how to draw an anime girl. Like, it's not something everybody should be like looking down on, I guess. It makes me mad when people look down on that.
Well, and tracing has been around for like years, millennia, really. And the thing is, it's because of social media, tracing has become this just evil, degenerate thing, unfortunately. So the reason people post bases is for animators, it's for digital artists who just can't get the pose right. So they use these bases as references. And it's great. It's so good for beginning artists. They get to understand facial features, they get to understand body proportions. It's a really, really good thing. But it's the fact that people see that the hair does not match the way the base was drawn, or
Oh yeah.
the base looks too anime, but the body, it just doesn't look anime, or something like that. Something dumb. And you can tell that this is a child who is just, they saw something they really liked and they wanted to make it their own. Bases are created for artists to make their own thing with it. That's why they're made. It's a starting point. A starting point so then you don't have to struggle as much. That's what a base is. But when artists see that a child use that base, it's immediately called tracing, it's immediately discredited, and those starting artists are like so shunned, and it's ridiculous. See, I've been in the realism painting world. You don't see that. You really don't, because you are encouraged to look at old artists as much as possible and make their art your own art as uniquely as possible. It's something that every artist teacher strongly encourages you to do, is look at the old pieces. Look how they painted, look at their brush strokes, and see how you can implement it into your style. Like tracing, base using, quote unquote plagiarism. It's not as big of a thing in the artist world as people say it is. There are definitely people that are 14, 15, definitely tracing people in their same age group that are really good artists and being like, this is my art. Look how great it is. That's definitely not okay. That is very frowned upon, and I strongly recommend trying to make your own stuff, please, because you're taking away from that artist and their fame and
I
their
mean,
credibility.
the sad part is that it's not even just like preteens or like teenagers as well. You have full on adults also taking credit for other people's art, and ugh,
Well,
that's sad.
I will say one thing aiding to that is how the art community reacts to beginner artists of any age. Because if you're really super young and you're a beginner artist, they will automatically make fun of your work. The amount of times I've seen other artists post like, and when I was younger, I've laughed at beginner artist art too, and it's like fucked up to have to first join a community and then have the only thing they do is make fun of you. And then it's worse if you're an older beginner artist, if you're 30 or something and you're just beginning to draw and people find out your age and they find out that you're not this super talented like 11-year-old, they will laugh at you too, like, oh, you're 30 and you can't even draw this or stuff like that. And then like the one thing you're left with is a way to make your art look better really fast so you don't get made fun of. And what is there? Bases. Bases from artists who are better than you, and you can easily get the proportions right or have your art look better at first glance without people laughing at you or making fun of you because you're just starting to learn how to draw.
Yeah, it's super, and I feel like it's some sort of you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it also just comes from people who are insecure about their own art as well. So they feel the need to criticize other people the way that they would criticize themselves because they know that, or they feel like they can that they also are not that good. I have two pieces next to me in my room. A friend drew them or a friend painted them for me, and I had shown some previous comrades, some previous acquaintances, and
Mm-hmm.
they yeah, they were clowning it. One of them being an artist as well, and they were clowning it, which I thought was like, I was like, well, that's super mean, you know, like the friend
Yeah.
like took the time to paint this for me, right? You know, they're trying, and they're not like a pro or anything, but that's just mean. And it was even worse that it was an artist comrade that was also clowning the work. I'm like, wow, you know, super sad.
Well, see, artists for the rest of their lives are going to be criticized, whether in critique, which is very helpful, or just by outsiders, because outsiders don't understand art, and criticism from insiders, it's really only beneficial to them. So, any starting artist that's going to go to school for it, that's going to go to a class for it, you're going to learn what a critique is. And critiques are very helpful, but if you've never been in an art community, it's going to be the hardest thing you'll
Yeah.
ever hear. Someone will say they don't like this, or they said you could do this better. For example, I have been doing for the past 4 years a pencil drawing practice, and each time we'll have or not 4 years, four classes in 2 years. And each time I do it, we have a critique thing. And I always have to listen to younger kids critique my work. And I know I'm better than them. I know I have more experience and more knowledge art-wise, but it's the appeal of the piece that someone doesn't like about it. And unfortunately, you have to learn to take criticism and critique the way you want to and not the way they want you to, because that's really going to make or break you. If you let all of those criticisms bring you to a place where you have to improve based off those criticisms, there's going to be 50 more coming your way. So you really just have to listen to those criticisms and say, I liked that one. I really think that that could benefit me if I improve that. And keep that. But don't keep everything else. Just keep that one. Or else you're gonna dig yourself a hole and hate art and hate yourself because your art is a reflection of you. It's a spiral.
Yeah, I mean that goes even with like negative criticism too. You have someone that just absolutely slams your art for pretty much no reason. You can still have a good takeaway from that as well. I think that's also just as important as much as listening to constructive criticism. You can listen to someone who slams your art for, you know, whatever reason, and you can still have a good takeaway from that and be like, okay, well, you know, that was the worst way you could have put it, but you do have a point. I probably should fix something like this, you know?
Well, and that's why critiques were created, is for outsiders, because it's better to hear it from someone who does the same thing as you than someone who doesn't. Right. So then you're prepared for the people who don't.
Right.
Then you're not just like, shut the fuck up, you don't know what you're doing. But you're also not like, they hate me? Oh my god, they hate me. I have to be better.
There's also the whole ordeal of like trying to know which art is art you should post and which art is art you shouldn't post. I'm not talking about like, I'm saying which one you're prepared to hear criticism for, because some of my art is it is my art, but it's distanced from myself. So like art of my characters, art of something I just imagined in my head, something that I don't have any emotion in. But some of my art is like a part of myself. Like if I were to post like an event art on Instagram, you would not be prepared if you're not like, you can't post certain art without being prepared to have a bit of a mental breakdown because you posted that art, right? Like I would be fine with people criticizing what I'm drawing right now. Like, oh, I don't like how this looks. I'd be like, oh, or oh, this could have been better. I could look at it and be like, yeah, that could have been better, because I see it objectively as an art piece, I don't see it as a memory of how I was feeling when I was drawing it, right? But like, even this goes with my writing too, because I wrote a very personal piece in my writing class, but I was prepared for people to read it because I knew why I was writing it. I was writing it specifically for college applications essays. So obviously, when I was writing it, I knew people were going to read it, and therefore I was okay and mentally prepared for my teacher to be like, oh, fix this, I don't like this, change this, or when she read it out to the book in class. But you've got to be, and that was something I didn't know when I was a younger artist, that people are going to react to your art the same way. It doesn't matter if it's something you made when you were bored or something you put hours of art into. They're going to react to it the same way. It doesn't matter what feelings you put into it, they're going to react to it the same way. So you have to be prepared for that if you're going to have people reacting to it, because otherwise you just get your heart broken.
I mean, that just goes for any piece of thing that you create when you put it out there for people to see. Obviously, you have to be prepared for people to give what they think about it. You know, you put like a drawing that you put on like Instagram or like Twitter. Obviously, now that it's in the public space, people are going to say what they think about it, regardless of how you feel or regardless of what they know about you or like what went into going into this piece, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why I hate people looking through my sketchbook when I didn't give them permission, because when I drew those drawings, they were from me. Like, I didn't think anybody else was going to see them unless I specifically posted it somewhere.
Right.
Like, it's basically a diary, and obviously, like, I felt safe when I was drawing them, and now you're just going to come in here and make me feel unsafe? No. fuck off.
Yeah, that kind of yeah, I would never do that. I feel like I probably would have done that like in middle school, but that's just because I wouldn't have understood like what it would mean for me to take someone's notebook and just look at, because I may have good intentions in mind, but it's the breach of privacy, because
Yeah.
I didn't really have like a concept, I guess, or wouldn't have really thought of like vent art or something like that, or something that you drew or wrote specifically to to like express some part of yourself that you don't really like to share with people. That's why nowadays, like if I ever see someone that I know like draws and they have like the notebook out, I'll be like, oh hey, can I see what you got, or like can I see whatever it is you do. I always ask first.
Yeah.
I would never
Well-
I would never just take the notebook and be like, what you got there? What you got there?
Yeah.
I think
well,
also. Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. um. Well, most artists are very like they do appreciate you asking and taking the time to, you know, just give them space and boundaries, because sometimes we draw things that are a little questionable and we think are funny or
By
interesting,
questionable,
but
she
other
means
people are gonna be like,
boobs.
what the hell? Yeah. That's a major thing. There's a lot of titties involved. But
Private though, in private.
see, you could, if you came up to me and you took my sketchbook and you went through it, I'd probably just be like, just don't look at that page. You might die of embarrassment. Because from a young age, I've always been asked, what's that character? What are they doing? And it's always been a really awkward question because I've had to watch people slowly get more and more disinterested as I explain what I'm doing. So I've learned that no matter what, someone's gonna be disinterested or confused. So just let them go through it.
Well, yeah, if you're not an artist and then someone starts explaining art stuff to you, it's like, of course, you're not going to be that interested because you don't understand. It's mainly just the fact that you don't understand.
That too. Me, I mostly draw characters and then I have to go through the entire character origin story and stuff because I'm weird like that.
I see.
But I'm a wonderful person. I have this initiation
Those
thing.
were two different descriptions.
Yeah,
that you just gave
I know.
Yourself. I'm
I have
super
this-
weird. I'm wonderful, guys. You don't understand.
Yeah, I have this initiation process where everyone has seen every single drawing I've done since about first grade. I have 2 big ass totes underneath my bed. And when you come to my house for the first time, I pull that fucker out and we go through it.
You do. Yes, you do.
And you will have the time of your life, I promise you. But you'll also go through the journey of I don't know what the fuck I was
Just open
thinking
it up
when
and
I
it's like
drew
12
that.
pages of like turkey drawings.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very scared of what that entails. It's just like Lovecraftian horrors.
Skahabagipidit has seen it.
Oh,
And
right.
Denevers
Our good
has
buddy
seen it.
over there.
I can't beatbox.
Yeah, you can. You just go.
No, I'm white as hell. I can't.
Our good buddy.
Like, there's also, I think one thing I've noticed, especially as we get older, is that people who aren't artists put a lot of value into artists' work, okay? Which isn't a bad thing. That's great. Because, like, most of the time when people see my art or, like, figure out that I draw, they're like, oh, that's so cool, or, oh, I wish I could draw. Like, they think it's a really cool talent to have. Just like I'm sure, when you tell people that you're a musician, they're like, oh, that's so cool, or, oh, I wish I could do music stuff,
I don't know about that. I've never gotten that before.
They think, oh, sorry. That's so cool. I wish I was a musician.
I've never gotten that ever.
But so they think, at least when it comes to me, I don't know. I'm not saying this is a universal experience, but they think my art is something that I constantly want to be viewed by people or to be appreciated by people, and that is not true. I'm not mad when people are like, "Oh, I like that looks so good." Like I'm like, "Thank you." Right? Cuz like it's like I love getting complimented on my art. That's not weird, but they do think that like them looking through my sketchbook isn't an invasion of privacy or a weird thing because they think my art is something I always want to show off.
Right.
Or every drawing is something like everybody
want some of those in private.
look at this titty. Like it's and it's not. That's not how it is. I would rather you not see that titty in my sketchbook. That titty was for me. Thank you very much. Like I'm okay with you not seeing everything I've ever drawn. If I want to show you something I drew, I'll show you. I'll make you stop everything. I'll be like, look at this. And you'll be like, wow. I could be like, I know, right? But other than that, don't go through my shit. Like,
yeah, don't breach privacy, guys. I think that's a crime.
I think the only time I've ever been like, don't go through my stuff is when I write. Because my drawings, they've always been adequate, slightly weird, but there's never been anything inappropriate or out of pocket. My writing, oh my gosh, that is a different story, 100%, 24/7.
I'm gonna go take a piss. I'll be right back.
entertained.
Okay, I think it's time for our sponsor.
Oh, our sponsor. Sponsor is EP.1.
No. Our sponsor is Piss Feet.
Okay.
Let me. Piss Feet is a local company that has contributed to the disease of sores on your foot. These sores are created because of literal piss on your feet, whether you're standing up after a piss and it dribbles a little bit, or someone is pissing on your feet in your sleep. They ask for $25 at least a month, and they donate this money to mostly people on inappropriate websites that do very inappropriate things, or women they find in the hospital that have weird pimples on their feet. And yes, this is an issue for mostly women. And yes, it is the women who do not wipe themselves after they piss.
And
so
guys,
keep that in mind.
Piss Feet has really helped me. Like they send me, it's a monthly subscription, and basically they just send you stuff to deal with your piss feet. And listen, my feet are the pissiest feet. Every time I walk, it's like, because the piss on my feet is so hot, urine is so unchecked, and these months using Piss Feet has changed my life. And
so please be a contributor today and donate to
urinated. Put in code urinated feet foot fetish.
What?
To get 50% off your first order.
We're just talking about today's daily sponsor.
Yeah,
we have a sponsor. Who's the sponsor?
You know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you know the sponsor.
Oh yeah. Thanks for joining, everybody. They definitely did the ad read.
Yep.
Oh god, I'm really scared to roll back this footage and see what you guys just said. See what you guys just said. God.
It was the sponsor.
It was the sponsor.
Yes.
I
podcast has one.
I mean, of course, I have the ad read right here, right there. That's where I write down my ad reads.
Exactly, and you sent it to all of us before this event.
I don't know if I want to go along with this because I don't know what you guys said.
You know what we said. You have the ad. You have the sponsor. You're the one getting like 75% of the money. We're
I
getting
don't
like
know who's
pennies.
sponsoring this.
You know, yes, you
The-
do. You
You
know,
literally
don't
have the
deny it.
An unnamed podcast full of
This
of
is-
people who don't know what they're doing.
This is a
I know.
very beneficial cause, and you're lying. So stop lying because
What
this
part of
cause
this
is
is
very
beneficial?
It takes
important
away
to
from the cause.
mostly Western American citizens, but still, it's a good cause for American citizens.
Yo, if you from Wisconsin, leave a like on this podcast episode.
Don't call them out. Don't call them out. This is supposed to be anonymous and respectful.
Wisconsin doesn't exist. I thought we established that.
No, we
No,
talked
that
about
was Wyoming.
Go with the program.
God.
Whoa!
Whoa,
Guys.
we have to.
Your
We're gonna have to censor that. I think
Hell
you
yeah.
meant
Beatbox. You don't even know my fucking name.
I'm sorry, I can't beatbox.
Yes, you can.
It just
Her-
happens.
Her name is. It's not that hard. Say it with me.
What's it called?
Oh shit!
Sounds like a southerner trying to beatbox. Boots
You-
and cats and boots.
See,
and
it's
cats.
hard. It's hard to remember.
Pablo just called me a pussy, and I will not stand for that.
Well, things happen.
This is the worst thing ever. Anyway, thanks for joining us today on this podcast. I think we're gonna call it here, huh? Unless anyone else wants to talk about something.
I have a pretty good topic.
Oh God, all right,
No,
let's
we-
hear it. I'm gonna regret asking you this.
So, okay. When you decide to go to your first day of school every year on the docket, right in the books. Every time when you go to your first day of school, is your first question, how fast is this year going to go? Or is your first question, do my hands stink? Okay, and that's all the time we have for today. Okay, let's wrap it up.
Why did you ask that question and then not answer it?
That's the point. Now end it.
That was not the point.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Now the viewers have to think for themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Philosophical question. If any philosophers are watching, make sure you.
And
leave a
this
like.
is our ending segment called Pablo is questioning the world. Okay, let's end it here. Everybody say goodbye, and
Wait,
let's
hold
have a
on.
good
Whoa, hold on. Before we do
good
it,
rest of our lives.
Shut up. Anyway, so I have this thing that I wanted to do as tradition. I forgot to do it at the very beginning, but I said that I would do this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read a dad joke every podcast.
No,
It's gonna
no.
be awesome. Yes.
no.
Yes. I'm gonna do one
No.
right now. Hold on, I have to find one.
That joke for the pod?
Okay.
Okay,
got
I
this.
got one.
No,
I got one.
Shut up. Anyway, this is my podcast. Let me do it. Anyway. So, what did the ocean say to the beach?
Nothing. It just
See you
wait.
later.
I'm gonna kill myself. I mean, game and myself in Minecraft. Hold on, let me do
Sorry.
another one. That one sucked. Let me try another one. What do you call a factory that makes okay products?
I don't know. What do you call it?
A satisfactory.
I'm fucking choke.
What? What?
Satisfactory.
How do you make a tissue dance?
No.
Head against
You
the
put a little boogie
Wait,
in
no,
it.
your joke. doesn't
Okay,
count.
everyone, that is our time.
Shut up! You are not the host. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody, on this very hot episode of whatever I decide to name.
Had a good
this.
one. Was that comedical? Did they?
Were you I'd say you were pretty comedical. I think we had a lot of introspection today.
Hell yeah!
Anyone have any
Hell
other
yeah.
lasting words? Any parting words?
Just end it. Come on.
No. Everyone needs like a dramatic goodbye.
We should all at the same time just say
Piss.
skideedles.
I'm not saying skideedles.
Skideedles. Yeah, everyone
Why
at the
not?
same time.
Can we all say catch you on the flip side?
No, skideedles.
I
That's
don't want
boring.
to say skideedles.
Yes. No questioning it. Okay,
Anyway,
ready?
Catch you on the flip side, everyone. You are not
One,
gonna, no.
two.